her to her husband Abram to be his wife, and after Abram had dwelt 10 years, somebody say 10 years, 10 years in the land of Canaan, 10 years, Sarah gave Hagar to be Abram's substitute. Somebody say substitute. How many of you ever experienced in school a substitute teacher that when the teacher walked in and say, my name is, or you walked in and you seen a circle on the board with Mr. or Mrs. such and such, there's something that just happened in your spirit. You be like, because you had a favorite. Your teacher was a favorite. You loved your teacher. You liked your teacher. For those of you that were really going to school to learn, you liked your teacher. And when you found out that it was a substitute, it didn't settle well in your spirit. So here we have Hagar as a substitute for Abram and what this thing we're going to deal with, okay? It was a common practice in those days, and Abram acted in line with the custom. He acted in line with the custom. It was a common practice for, if a woman was barren, to take a maidservant and give her to her husband to have children. And those children, after they were born, were called her children. It was a common thing. But something happened. And even though Abram was acting in line with the custom, he also showed his lack of faith in trusting that God will fulfill his promise. Out of this lack of faith came a serious problem. Somebody say there's a serious problem happening. This happens when we often take over and try to help God. Somebody say, I was just trying to help. This happens when we take over and we try to help God, and what happens is we put ourselves in a position, and instead of helping God, we begin to hurt the situation. Whose situation? Your situation. See, this is not God's situation, it's your situation. See, God's always in control, even when we lose control. Even when we think things are just helpless and hopeless and won't work and all. God is yet in control. And sometimes we want to interfere and help God out. Because while we were praying, we got a revelation. And it was really the Cheerios we ate, the hamburger at Sonic's, or the fries at Mickey D's. It was that revelation that's where it came from. It didn't come from God. Because let me ask you something. Do you really think God needs your help? Now, he chooses to use us as vessels to carry out his will, but he don't really need us. Oh my God. I want to wake somebody up this morning and let you know God don't really need you. He don't really need me. Glory be to God. Because soon as I act up, guess what? He got somebody on the bench waiting to take my place. Don't get it twisted. God ain't desperate. Now, sometimes we get desperate. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And we go to those desperate measures without counting up the costs. And so, they were trying to help God out. In this case, time was the greatest test. Time was the greatest test. Because you remember it says, when he had dwelt in the land 10 years. Wow. It was 10 years since God spoke the promise. How long has it been since God told you what he was going to do? And how many walls have you ran into since then? 10 years. Time was the greatest test. And as a people, we just, we live in a microwave world now. Everything is instant. Instant oatmeal and instant roast. Anybody ever had instant roast? You don't want none. It don't fall apart. You got to tear it apart. Everything instant. Instant relationship. You want what you want all at one time. I want a house now. I want a car, a nice car now. You know, as opposed to working up to those things. You know, I want an apartment full of furniture. I want it to be from somebody named one of them good furniture stores. Mathis Brothers. Oh, yeah, I want it from Mathis Brothers. I want it from Ben Singer. One of them big echelon. One of those, you know, where the chair costs you $5,000. Yeah, I want it from there. Why? So, because when my friends come over, I can, you know, when they sit in that chair, we can say, you know how much it costs.
That's it.
Matter of fact, then we say, reach down, look at that tag. We didn't even take the tag off. Because we're trying to make an impression.
Real.
Everything we wanted instant. Abraham wanted it instant. I won't lie to you. I want things to happen quickly too. But how many know it doesn't happen like that all the time? Look at David and say, sometimes you just got to wait on the Lord. You just got to wait sometimes. Well, waiting can be a hard thing to do. It can be hard. I can't wait to get out of school. You better listen to the grown folk. You better listen to somebody, because see, your life, hasn't even began until you do this. Yeah. I can't wait to get my own apartment, because they ain't thinking about how much it costs a month. They're not thinking about it's going to be $700, $800 rent. That's just rent. They're not thinking about the utility bills. You know, they just think everything is, when we move out, mom and daddy still, they're going to pay theirs and mine. All right. Yeah. Oh, I can just turn the heat on and leave it on. They don't think about that. Oh, yeah. Because, see, they got in a habit. See, when you have been used to thinking that way over a period of time, and you don't change the way you think, you move into that apartment in the summertime, and you keep that bad boy on 60. At the end of the month, you get that bill. And they surprised. Well, why is it surprised? They're not surprised at the amount. They're surprised that they got to pay it. And so, in this walk of life, we have to not rush into anything. Young folk, don't rush to be grown. Because guess what? It's coming. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's when. It's coming. Don't rush to try to get your own place, because guess what? It's coming. The birds, we can learn something from them, because as soon as they see that the little bird's wings are strong enough, or they just think it, here they go. Baby, I hope you can fly. Now, I believe you can fly. And hit the ground. Yeah, they leave down there for a while. And see, sometimes that's what we have to do as parents. Sometimes we have to give you something. That ain't high enough. Sometimes we have to allow that, and then guess what? Leave them there for a minute.
Yeah.
Now they don't think it's forever. They don't think you just can totally jack them. Their world has just ended, because they're gonna be constantly looking up. I wonder when they're coming. I wonder when they're gonna come and pay this. I wonder when they're going to come and get me out of jail, because I wrote a bad check to pay that. Yeah, I wonder when.